How are you doing now? We're almost done for the day. Or you still have class after this?
I'll be done for the day.
Woo, woo, woo. Who's been outside today? It's a wonderful day in Cape Town.
I'm going to go ride my horse after classes, and then I'll go die in the sun.
I envy you. I envy you. Well, today's a perfect day for that. You enjoy, be safe.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm pretty sure, yeah, just being out today is it's one of those days. I said to during the break, I bumped into one of my colleagues who's originally from Gauteng, and I said to him, you know what? You always say that you want to go back to Gauteng because you're originally from Gauteng, and you like the vibe there, and you're too busy here to actually enjoy the beautiful nature and everything that Cape Town and the Western Cape offers you. Today are those days that you actually should take time and just take that step back and reflect and enjoy, because there's no point in just working all the time and not enjoying a day like today. So it is a beautiful day. Enjoy it. I don't know how I'm going to stay healthy, because I mean this just challenges your immune system, because it's 30 and tomorrow is 20 and yesterday was 17. So with that yo-yo type of weather, my apologies. See, even my throat now sort of realizes that, you know what? Yeah, let's jump in here, because it's not ideal, but we're healthy, we're safe. It's a beautiful day outside, and we're almost done with this chapter. So if we stick with me for another couple of minutes, we should be fine. We're doing good time. I want to also announce, like I have said in the previous session, or maybe not everybody was online already, but Corinne and I chatted because she had, before the previous period, she had some questions related to the case study. So I said that tomorrow afternoon session, I know you guys are in assignment mode. The tomorrow afternoon session, the 9th period, 2 o'clock, I will spend time. I will go through the assignment for sales and operations for SOP22, question by question. I will find out from you if you're interpreting it correctly, because we want you to have good marks. And we have said before that an assignment is an opportunity for us to improve our marks, because we are not limited for time, we are not limited for resources, and we actually can and should always have get good marks. We want you to, and the only reason why, with all the assignments that I've marked thus far this year, on all the modules that I've taught, usually the or the lower marks is as a result of students misinterpreting the question, and we don't want that to happen. It's a week before your submission date, and I'm going to spend time tomorrow afternoon during the 9th period to address any possible issues and get that out the way to ensure that you can actually produce a good assignment. Right. What we've done up to this point in chapter 10 on relationship selling is that we've identified pretty much that where traditionally the relationship, or traditionally marketing and selling was done in a more sort of transactional manner. The lesser time you can spend with a client, the better, because that means that at the end of the day, you can actually see more clients and make more money. And then gradually over time, people realize that if we, through systems like the just-in-time model, for instance, if you implement that in your whole production process, we can become more efficient. Because become more efficient, we deliver higher quality products. We don't have to keep any stock or inventory. The whole distribution process is more efficient. We can spend more time with the customer, because the customer is going to spend more time with us because of the quality of the product. And the end result is that our profit margins will increase and our costs will decrease. The latter being more in line with the changes in business philosophy and orientation that management has implemented from a production and product orientation initially to a current more customer marketing, customer-centered one, where a relationship with a customer is of greater value to us because our customers stay with us longer, and they and it's repeat business, it's continuous business. We don't have to go through any expenses to find a new customer because our existing customers are very happy and they do repeat business with us. Right, but we also know that you guys as Gen Zs and probably because you're using more platforms, social media platforms than any of the other generations combined, it means that the information that you get, that you have to filter through is enormous. And it becomes more difficult to reach a wide audience for businesses because it's become so expensive, but there's also more options available. The traditional ways were slightly simpler because there were fewer choices. And how often have you not found yourself that not because there's nothing of interest on, it might be that there's nothing of interest for you at that point, but if you had limited choices, if you could, like we said in the previous session, if you can choose between one chance to do it or three chances, you'll always choose more chances because it improves your chances of picking the right one or getting the best marks if it's an exam, for instance, or getting the best results if it's an athletics meeting or tournament, for instance. But if you only could choose between A and B, you will choose A or B. The more choices you're given, the more it confuses you, and it means sometimes that you, as a result, take longer to make a decision, and the longer you take to make a decision, the chances are that you're not eventually going to make a decision. Take yourselves, for instance. How many times have you not sat on the couch with the remote of the television in front of you and you are channel hopping? No, not interested in that. Not in the mood for that now. It's because you have 50, 100 options to choose from, alternatives to choose from. If you only had two, I'm pretty sure you get stuck on one of those. Okay, there's limitations with that as well. But when it comes down to products that you produce and that you are going to sell to customers, don't give customers too much variety. Small little things, yes, that the cosmetic things that you can change. Like for instance, when you're selling a vehicle, there's more options in colors, for instance, and combinations. But that, at the end of the day, is not going to impact on your profit and the effort to actually give the customer the choice that they are happy with and the combination that they are happy with is not costing you any time or money. It's not impacting on your profit either. It's just greater options. But if it's the main element is not all those cosmetics of the particular vehicle, the main element is vehicle A or vehicle B. That's you need to focus on. Smaller things, smaller cosmetic things, there can be choices, yes, because they don't really affect your business at all. Right. If a customer is satisfied because you're delivering a high quality product to them, they're not going to be shopping around. Customers, when they're happy, don't shop around. They only sometimes change because they're forced to change because they enter a different cycle of their lives and their needs change, or because the particular supplier is not in business anymore. It's as simple as that. What has happened with information technology is that it has made face-to-face contact less. I've asked a question yesterday, and I think Ruan was one of the students who shared his comments with us. How do you expect to be treated as a customer? Do you expect to be treated differently and with more respect and more support and help and assistance if you are going to spend more, if the item that you are buying is a more expensive item? But I think what we've also realized is that because of the online options of purchasing, that it's become more available to us, and even more so, it was sort of fast-tracked as a result of the pandemic. It made it more impersonal. Many transactions that you would have actually in the past traditionally have almost sort of planned your day around an excursion that ended up in you buying a particular product. Nowadays, people are because of the information they have available, they can almost do anything online. So there is less face-to-face contact. It has changed the landscape of selling specifically, and it has made the management of databases and the management of accurate information of those databases has made so much more of a crucial element for you to be guaranteeing success in sales. I'm not so sure how much the loyalty of a customer is going to be affected by the options that's provided to you to shop online. I think a lot of effort goes into ensuring that the online platforms for purchases are user-friendly. If they are user-friendly, and it almost feels that it's similar to doing the real thing, but just at a more convenient times and in a more efficient manner, quicker and more convenient for the customer, then yes, I think definitely it can it can result in an increase in customer loyalty. Some of the tactics that's important for relationship selling. Customer retention. That's what your objective is. That's why you are working on establishing a strong relationship with your customers. The main objective is to retain the customer, to keep them. You keep them happy because it's cheaper to keep them than to find another one. Because relationship selling results in a more solid relationship between supplier and buyer, and therefore resulting in more satisfied customers. Customers not shopping around and changing suppliers on a regular basis. It means that the salesperson also stays in his or her position for longer because the customer is happy and they need to keep on servicing that customer. So in other words, yes, as it says there on the slide, the salesperson stays in their positions longer because the buyers stay in their positions longer. My apologies. We'll see in an image later on. I think it's on the next slide. I just want to make sure. Yes, it's actually on the next slide. You'll see that on the next slide, that internal marketing that we referred to, especially employee retention, is also a spin-off of a very strong relationship. Let's go to that next slide. and look at that specific image. We'll start, and that whole process that we go through are all effects of forging strong relationships with your customer. Ensuring that there's a strong relationship between the buyer and the seller, between the seller and the customer, another name for the buyer. If you, in your company, implement, and that's where we started off today, a system like the just-in-time system that makes you more productive, it's more rewarding because there's two ways in which a business can look at this. Because the process is more efficient, it means that we can either increase our efforts, we can double our production, or we can, if we don't double it, at least increase our production. If our production increases, it means that we make more money. Therefore, we can reward our people better, or we can have the opposite, or we can have option B, which means that because we make or we complete a higher quality product in a shorter time, it means that the time that is available for your employees to relax, to spend leisurely the way they want, it's time off, is also so much more. And it just depends on what type of management style a business implements to choose between those two options, because both of them are positive results of a more efficient system. Obviously, in a traditional system, not a lot of emphasis was placed on internal service quality because we kept extras in case we made a mistake. Therefore, the quality of the products that we offered were not as great. Therefore, on the same level of quality. One department has a high quality, is renowned for high quality work. The other one, not so much. And combined, it was just an average performance. If, however, you have happy staff whose working and whose work environment is better, because they are more efficient, they find themselves that they are making less mistakes. Because they are making less mistakes, they are becoming more confident in what they do. It all impacts on customer satisfaction. Because customers are satisfied, employees are satisfied, they don't leave the company, so there's no employee retention. The company is making all the profits that they need to, so they don't have to let any of the employees go. The employees, as a result of that, is more productive. And then, obviously, externally, it means that the service that you will continue to deliver because you are used to it within your business is going to spill over to the customer. So externally, the quality of the service is going to be better, which means there's a bit more satisfied customer. Because there's a more satisfied customer, the customer is retained, the customer spends more, your profitability increases. Because your profitability increases, you can actually spend, you can actually grow your business, you can improve the internal service quality, and it becomes a very, very positive cycle. And that is what that image is about. If you start with the red arrow and you move clockwise, it will just keep on moving. It will be moving faster later on, because on all of those aspects, positively impact on the next one. It's like a domino effect. We've seen already in this chapter that there's definitely been a shift away from the traditional way of doing things. And initially, with your sort of traditional way of selling, also referred to earlier in this chapter as transactional selling, it means that it implied that for you to be happy in your job, you need to motivate yourself. You need to find ways that will motivate you to work harder. Where with your relationship selling, the exact opposite is true, because the company has implemented systems that makes you more efficient and more productive, and as a result of that, happier and more satisfied. And therefore, you stay longer with the company, which is just usually beneficial for everybody, as we've seen in the previous image. There's a whole shift that has happened to getting along and being accepted, and paying more attention to detail. Because if everybody gets along, we work better. I listened to an interview this morning that was done with somebody who was part of, who's retired since, but who was part of the Rugby World Cup winning squad of 2019. And he was quite clear that early in his life, he was a very selfish player because he always wanted to be the first choice. He was very competitive. And then he realized that there's a lot of selfishness in that. Sometimes it's best for the team if you are not the first choice. You might be the first choice, but in that particular scenario, in that particular game, for that particular opponent, you will probably be better off for the team if you are not the first choice. If you remain in the bigger picture, obviously, yes. But I think that was important to me or was an important lesson to me again. And it's something that we can actually apply to what we have discussed today. And that is that if you are clear with your employees as to exactly what each of their roles are, if you show that you value their contributions, and on some days that the input from one individual is going to be more valued than the others because of the specific situation, because tomorrow you will get your turn to contribute more. In general, we form a more efficient team, and if the team performs better, then the results will be better. It's exactly the same in the scenario that we have discussed today, and of how businesses operate better with more efficient systems that's in place. Because the environment is not a toxic environment. The environment is one of we all get along, we all respect each other, we all accept each other, and therefore we always look out for each other. So we pay attention to detail because it will benefit all of us. So your role sometimes is just different, but your contribution to the team is equal, and it's equally important. Again, I'm in a different classroom, so I've just tried to move my laptop with the wrong mouse. Anyway, be back. Right. Information is key. Accurate, relevant information is key. Most businesses nowadays have marketing information systems in place, and they basically work on 3 levels. We'll see it in the next slide in that illustration. And the 3 inputs that make a marketing information system work is the research, the market intelligence, as well as your internal accounting systems. They all have to work together. Your marketing research is done specifically by a department in the business that do research on not just the external market, but does research on your competitors, and their main function is to try things and test things and gather information and put different models in place and play with those models and to get to the model that works best for your business. They collect a lot of data. They design the correct questions that goes out into a survey. Your market intelligence refers to ensuring that you know what your competitors do, but you also know where you perform best and also what your customers will be needing. Internal accounting ensures that at the end of the day, the boat floats. It means that all the information that's gathered, all the statistics, all the analysis that you do, that actually is put into numbers. Because at the end of the day, that's the numbers that's going to make your business succeed or not. Let's look at the image that I've had on the screen previously. You'll see that all three, marketing intelligence, market research, and your internal accounting systems, they are all contributors towards the company's information system. The arrows are all going inward. They are all collecting and gathering information and contributing that to the marketing information system. They have all different roles to play. Their contributions are different contributions, but they all collectively provide information to the marketing information system, which is then processed and used by the company to outwardly, the red arrow, design strategic plans to ensure that the business can achieve its objectives. 3 arrows going inward, 1 going out. You need the 3 going in to be able to design a strategy that will make your business work. One of the best ways of gathering information, as we have said previously, if I haven't, I will now, is that a satisfied customer is one of the best sources of information that you can find, because that customer is happy and is happy with products or services that your company is delivering. And therefore, he will tell you what you're doing right. He will tell you what makes him satisfied. One of the important functions of a salesperson, or for somebody in a sales department, is that call that you make to your current customers, your existing customers. A, to tick the box that you have followed up in line with the company policy to ensure that the customer is still happy and satisfied, but also to find out information on why they're happy and satisfied. What makes them satisfied? What did in the whole process, the whole sales process, satisfied them? Because that information is not just used it's not just going to result in retaining a customer and converting them to becoming loyal customers, but it's also going to provide you with valuable information that you can now apply to a new potential customer, because you know what will make a customer happy, because you get the information from current happy customers. So it's the chances that if you repeat that to new customers is that the same result will surface and that they will also be happy. Use the information from customers that you have already in your system to help you. Use that as a starting point. The detail of doing these personal interviews, mostly it's done telephonically, is that you can decide on what the questions are. You structure the questions And my apologies, you can concentrate on specific markets. Obviously, you will also start with that 20% of your customers, your key accounts, your key customers, because they contribute towards 80% of your business's turnover. And at some point, you are going to lose some of that 20%. They just they just stop using your services or buying your products because they don't have a need for it anymore. And you have to replace them. So part of that 80% that's not yet a key account that you will be focusing on and working on the whole time, keeping them satisfied, because you want to convert them to become part of that 20%, to replace the 20%, part of that 20% that you are losing. It's almost like filling it up the whole time, keeping the funnel going the whole time. You can't just wait, and I know Sasha would probably can relate to this because his team that he supports in the Premier League has gone through a phase where they had to completely rebuild, and the results wasn't immediate. And you don't want to get to a point where you have to all of a sudden replace your entire team because everybody has reached a retirement age, and you keep on bringing fresh players into your team, and exactly the same applies to the business. It's fine to have happy employees who are working for you for a long time, but you need to get fresh blood in all the time, because at some point, those happy, satisfied customers after 20, 30 years need to retire, have to retire, and you have to replace them. But you can't replace them then with an inexperienced staff member. You need somebody that within the system can actually then continuous process of keeping that funnel filled. What is the benefits of such an integrated process that we have identified now? It reduces your cost, without a doubt. More sales per customer, because you have more information on the customer. You can more effectively identify and categorize the customers. You can definitely, as a result, do better segmentation of your target market. And you will know exactly what to present to them because you have studied them in depth, and therefore you know exactly what their needs are and what will satisfy that need. And you can do much better and more accurate forecasting, because that's sometimes the Achilles heel of many businesses. But it's also those who are really successful sometimes are viewed with a bit of jealousy, and everybody says, but how did you know that? Well, how did you see that coming? Well, I tell you what, nobody has a crystal ball. So some businesses maybe have been, and those have been right time, at some point they not say their luck's going to run out, but because it was just a lucky coincidence that they benefited from, it is difficult to sustain that. But if you continue to work and crunch those numbers and gather the information and analyze that information and actually plan better, you are better prepared. And we all know what the saying is: if you don't plan, you actually plan to fail. And we don't want you to get to that point. You want to be able to appear as if you have insight into the future, but you actually don't. You are just have models in place based on all your research and analysis that prepares you better for what might happen in future. And that's a crucial element in the success of any business. If you want to stay ahead of your competitors, you need to do that anyway, but you're also doing it to ensure that you can anticipate more accurately future trends, because that will help you to keep the competitive advantage that your business have on your competitors, or if they are better than you, to maybe give you the competitive edge. At the end of the chapter, there's a few or sessions that we did today. There's a few questions that you can use for revision at home. One of that is just to look at the 3 inputs on the marketing information system again. Those arrows, remember, 3 going in, 1 going out, and name and explain the benefits of an integrated process. We just did that, so that more accurate forecasting and better selling. Those are all benefits that we have identified just for revision purposes. You can do that at your own time. Right, we are done with this chapter, people, and I leave you with a quote. I leave you with a quote from Sam Walton, obviously the founder of Walmart in well-known American company. There's only one boss, and that's the customer. Customer can fire everybody in the company, from the chairman all the way down, simply by spending its money somewhere else. Relationship selling, what this chapter is about keeping your customers happy. Keep on working on your customers to keep them happy, because if they don't spend their money with you, they'll spend it with one of your competitors. Right. Any questions, anybody, at the end of today's session?
No, sir, all good from my side.
Right. Thanks, Corinne. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. Go enjoy that horse ride and enjoy whatever the rest of you are going to do. Tomorrow's session, I will spend 100% devoted to your assignment 1. Keep well and stay safe, and we'll chat again tomorrow.
Thanks, sir. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, sir.